Good morning, Simon here. Well, half and half, Captain Australia Simon. So I'm not fully kitted out just yet. I've come to the north side of Brisbane. Plan is to drop on the mask, put up the banner and walk home. So it's probably about a 30k walk, and it's really just, I've got this big massive heavy pack and it's a muggy day. It's just getting used to it all in advance of the big walk, which will happen on the 26th of December. What is that, you ask? Captain Australia's big walk is in service of the Kids Cancer Project. I had stage 4 cancer and it wrecked me. It tried to kill me, but if it doesn't succeed, it tries to suck the life and the hope out of you. So my fight with cancer was a horrible ordeal, and I'm not here to complain about that. It's about considering the fact that children have to face up to it. So I had stage 4 cancer, and for my own healing I needed to walk, and I started walking and I started getting better. So the big walk is all about showing that that kind of hope is available, that if you do the work you can achieve constructive change in your life, and it's in service of the Kids Cancer Project. So most importantly of all, it's about helping these kids. 3 Aussie kids, I couldn't even look at the global numbers. 3 Aussie kids every week die. 950 every year are diagnosed. So of the 20%, those 3 a week that die, they might even be the lucky ones. Sorry, there's no lucky with cancer. Even when you beat it, you deal with lifelong side effects, and the kids who survive it have to face up with the same sort of things that I do. And again, not to complain, but to educate. The kind of chemo radiation inflicts on you some horrible harm. Facial cramp. I have daily facial cramps, daily pain, sometimes airway blockage to the point where I have to vomit. Used to be vomiting blood. So it's nasty. And the idea is that, I'm a bullfed and I'm healing myself, and that's available. But children, kids don't have the same tools. So the Kids Cancer Project is about the scientific attack on pediatric cancer. So it's about solving at that science level the solutions to softening treatments, bettering the success and survival rates, reducing the chronic illness footprint of the treatments. So every $50 donated translates to 1 hour of science, and it's bold science. So there's cancer research going on every day into immunotherapy for cancers across the spectrum, but this is about pediatric cancer that specifically targets children, and the average age is 6 years old. What the hell, And with respect to that, the science is unlocked to be very targeted and very specific towards those treatments. It betters humanity overall. It betters cancer treatment overall, but it has the benefit of being like micro-targeted towards these pediatric cancers. So that's the long and short of it. And what am I doing? I'm walking to heal myself. I'm going on an adventure to show that it doesn't matter how old or broken you get, that's available. And I'm going to walk from Melbourne. Every day I'm going to cover 40k will be my average. I think I can do more than that. I walk to the Gold Coast, 23 hours with a couple of little breaks, continuous walking. So I'm getting stronger. And more importantly, I'm going from this broken, hopeless, no hope of healing at all, just on the edge of being a walking ghost, and I'm alive. I don't know if you can tell, I smile now, and that's available. So, that's something that I want to give to you. I want to give to the children affected by cancer, to the families. I've had the privilege, the honor of meeting some of these people. Breaks my heart in a little way, but it's also, I don't know, when you breathe kindness into the world, it's like a circle, It connects to that person next to you, and it feeds them, and they connect to the person next to them, and it just goes around and it comes back to you. So there's an old Buddhist saying, and I've said it before, that kindness is the antidote to suffering. And I think I've just stumbled on that. Old fool that I am. I thought the walking was helping me, and it was, but I think helping, healing, hope, Triple H, is just fundamental, and it's unlocked my healing in a way that I might not have been able to otherwise. So that's my speech. I'm done. So I'm going to suit up as Captain Australia and I'm going to walk through Brisbane. So now I'm sort of towards Northgate, and I think it's about a 30k walk from here to my home, and it's just practice. I want to get better with these streams. I want to get better at saying what matters, because I think there is a message beneath all of my jibber jabber, and it's probably a positive and constructive one. So this is all about practice for me at telling that story, sharing that hope. And when I take the big walk, I'll be like Don Quixote, you know, crazy old fool. And every single day will be an adventure, and it's going to take me 10 weeks probably, and that's if I go hard. If I go down the garden path and explore a bit, maybe longer. Luckily or unluckily, COVID killed my travel insurance company, so I've got the time on my hands. I don't work for the charity. We're just sort of treading water while I heal myself, you know, living off the mortgage a bit. So I've got this year, and it's this crucially important year for me and my family, for our personal journey, because I get to fix myself up and come alive again. But yeah, it's also an opportunity then in that year to try and do something special for the charity. And after that, I hang up that hood and rejoin, you know, corporate Australia, or figure something out. Oops, we got a message. Hello. Definitely a strong message. Thank you, Captain Australia. Simon. Oh, hey. Oh, that's Janine. G'day, Janine. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, mate, I all my life, okay, I am, despite evidence to the contrary, despite a history of bad decisions, I am a pretty smart person. But all my life, that's distanced me from the world, you know, because when you're intelligent, you combine it with like a self-esteem issue. I grew up with a parent who was an addict, single parent addict, and you just learn bad lessons about love, you know, like you're unworthy of it, you're less important than the addiction, and they're just subtle things that imprint on you. And when you combine intelligence with low self-esteem, you get this weird self-doubt that you think you have something to offer, but, you know, maybe you don't. Maybe you're just a piece of garbage. I don't feel that way all the time, some of the time, but I worry that when I talk, I just ramble on. But I promise I try my best to talk true. And yeah, today it's a nice muggy day, so I feel the heat. It's also got a nice little breeze, so I'm just practicing walking. Get the banner up, hopefully some people will see that. And people seem to understand. They see the stupid costume, they see the banner. I got called, by the way, at the Gold Coast, Military Santa. So I met these lovely young dudes. I mean, look, they could go dark and light, you know, anybody could, but so they're a bit rough and tumble, but they're good guys, good kids, really. They're just on the edge of adulthood. And yeah, one of the dudes said, yeah, man, you look like Santa, but, you know, military version. So I'm thinking of a rebrand. I'll need a rap for that, though. Like, oh, what can we do? Yeah, I'm Military Santa. Come buy me a Fanta. We'll have a little banter. How's that? Pretty good? No, that was awful. I don't know why I burst into rap occasionally. That is a sign that I'm coming alive. That is a sign that cancer does not get to win always. That you can fight it and come alive. And what is the sign of that? The fact that I'm here to rap. Anyway, oh, train. I'm gonna kill the stream, otherwise I'll just jibber jabber all day long. I will stream again later, and I'll try these over the shoulder streams. I'm buying new headphones. The quality of the vision I may not be able to improve. Camera positioning I can figure out, but the I've got these, they're called MIFO or MIFO, I'm not sure about the brand name, but oh, the specs on them are wonderful. 7 hours battery time, sound reduction, but it also collects. You can turn it to if you need to talk to somebody, you can switch mode and it goes into like a ambient sound mode where it'll pick up what the other person says. So they were like 130 bucks, which I've got to be a bit, you know, careful with the cash, but I think that'll really help, because I've been watching these streams as I do them, and in a lot of them you can barely hear me talk. It's terrible. So I've got these old earbuds that I bought back in my corporate Australia days, and they were good then, not so good anymore. But in the next couple of days I'll have new sound, which hopefully will improve the quality of the streams overall. Anyway, oh, we got another. Lol, your heart and your intentions are true, thank you. Well, yeah, I hope so. I think so. I believe so. And I'm just going to do my best. And I think if we all take that approach, even if I'm no good at it, if it inspires someone else to have a crack, then, you know, the world gets better. Anyway, suit up, banner up, and walk. So I'll leave it there. All the best. Have a lovely day, anybody and everybody now and in the future. And take it easy. G'day, should have decent sound. I've got my earbuds in. They're not the new U-Boot MiFo ones just yet, but they should be working, so you should be able to hear me. And we're just going to do another one of these over-the-shoulder tests. Just saw a young bloke with a broken down ute. Got to swoop in and offer to push him and help him try and start his engine without any success. But I think it might have been a bit of a weird experience for him to have some dude dressed up as military Santa / Captain Australia come and try and help him out. Now I'm going to spin this around and then we're just going to walk. So we're about 10k out of the city and then 8k or so to my place. So all told, I'll have walked 30k today, and I'm just going to turn the stream on and see how the quality is. Check it out when I get home. So flip that over, spin that around, and we should be well positioned on the shoulder, able to see all, know all, understand all, well, maybe see all, or see some. So, oh, heavy, 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 heavy. Oh, why are you carrying such a heavy bag around, Captain Australia? You don't need any of this stuff yet. No, but I'm in practice for when I will. And, oops, I haven't handed out any posters or flyers or anything today. Oh dear. Simon, 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 you've got to do a better job with that stuff. Knock on every door, mate. We'll get there. Okay, now let's check that camera. And the flag is okay. I think we're good. So to the best of my knowledge, your camera view should be okay right now. I'm still learning how best to strap it into place and what position looks best at the end result. Now, oh, we've got a reflective surface here. Let's have a look. So this is us. You, my friend, yeah, you're sitting at roughly eye level, maybe tilted a bit inward. So let's tilt you a bit outward. That should be about right. Okay. I just realised, reflective windows, there may very well have been a bunch of office people staring out at me, posing in the window for my and your benefit. Oh dear. Okay. Supervet's Animal Hospital. And there was a shop in this this block of shops, like there are a lot of little factory boutique stores. And there was one called BD, like the Bee Gees, BEEDEE bags. BD bags. Now, I have 3 sons. Every time my child was born, had an inspiration for what their name would be. But had to stop and just kick the tires and test those names. And the main thing is, can you make fun of this name? So in my high school, there was a kid, not kidding, named Wayne Carr. Yep. I think that's a parenting fail, personally. And there was a Michael Hunt. And there's a Michael Hunt Used Motors or something out at Maruka. It might be the same guy. I think, again, that's an unfortunate name. And, you know, you don't just have to look for names that unconsciously say something they're not meant to. You've also got names that rhyme with something, like, or even just names like George that have a little childish rhyme, like Georgie, Porgy, Pudding and Pie. Kissed the girls and made them cry. when the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. So that was a little rhyme that kids would say when I was a child. And if you named your child George, you'd have to be aware that they might very well become a Georgie Porgy, which is less than ideal. So you have to check your names. Now, how does this relate to the present issue at hand? Well, BD bags. If I just say that straight, it's like, yo, everybody, let's BD bags, you know? And I get it, it's American, but a D-bag is an abbreviation of a douchebag. And a douchebag is a term that means, you know, somebody who is of low moral character, who's like mean-spirited and selfish and cruel, and they're a D-bag. Now, I get it, again, we're in Australia, that's an American term, but Halloween's an American holiday, and from what I'm seeing with all the decorations springing up, we're appropriating that one, so, you know, there's a bit of USA, AU cultural blend. So, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody in Australia was using the term douchebag or even D-bag. So this business, BD bags, could also be seen as like a manifesto, a statement of intent, or an advice, an instruction, you know, a recruitment rationale for a cult. Join BD bags, walk amongst the earth and propagate. People keep beeping at me, I think in a mostly good-natured way. So, this is just practicing an over-the-shoulder stream. And at first I thought I would try, you know, try to be wise, try to be funny, try to amuse you. Why would I do that? Well, it's to recruit you so that you'll look at this whole big walk and look past it at the charity, the Kids Cancer Project. So that's my logic. I don't want to manipulate you. I just want to show that, hey, this is worth looking at. And then you'll look at it and you'll go, oh, this guy's crazy or this guy's funny. And then you'll share it. And please do that anyway if you can. You know, friends, family. Because this whole charity enterprise, I mean, I don't know. I think those 950 Aussie kids diagnosed every year, you know, they're worth us trying, you know. Win, lose or draw, it's the trying that matters. So that's what I'm doing, I'm trying. But yeah, I realised that, well, maybe I just need to be me, you know. I'm going to walk from Brisbane to Melbourne. 26th of December I'll leave. Every day I'll walk an absolute minimum. Like if I'm injured or I have blisters or something, my absolute minimum will be 30k. Pretty confident that I can pull a good 60 out on most days. So I'd like to say I'll get down there in under 10 weeks. Because I'm conscious that as soon as I leave, every step forward gets me closer to being back to my family. I don't want to leave them, but part of it, it's not just a charity. Part of why I'm walking is for my own healing. It's that idea of a pilgrimage, a quest. It's doing something good, doing something righteous, and you know, that being an antidote for the darker stuff that can happen in your life. But it's a quest. You know, it's that spirit of adventure, hope of adventure. I haven't even left yet and I've already had a bunch of little adventures. So my big walk itself should be pretty, you know, pretty long and tiring and boring, but I'm sure there'll be adventures in there and wonderful people to meet. So, you know, the big walk, it's for me. It started out for me and it started out about healing. That's absent all of the superhero stuff. That's me slinging a pack on my shoulders and walking. I would have and considered just doing that anonymously, seeing how far I get, no set goals, just get permission from my partner and walk. But I realized I could do it for the charity. I could do it in this, you know, theatrical way. when I bring myself back to life, I could bring the buffhead superhero Captain Australia back to life. So here I am standing on the corner of Nudgee Road and something street, dressed as a buffhead superhero. Northgate to city, city to home, and just practicing the walking and the streaming. When I do my big walk, I think I'll have more of a structure to what I do, but I just haven't gotten to a point where I know what that looks like. There's this idea. I get up in the morning and I do a quick 15 before breakfast, and then I have breakfast. So I was thinking, like, in the morning I could do, even though I won't have the means to heat water, I'm not going to start fires. I'll sleep rough. I won't be camping, just sleeping rough every night. But I thought I could have a thing called like Cab's Coffee Corner or something like that, and just update you on where I am, where I intend to go that day, or where I went the day prior. And, just like a very structured, specific update without all the usual riggedy ramble. And then during the day, I just do organic stream. So if I go somewhere beautiful, I have something to show, take a video, a photo, or a stream. I was thinking in the evening might do story time with Captain Australia too, because I like to read to my kids, and it will hurt to not be able to do that. So if I did that in stream, I could be reading to my own children, but potentially, anyone else who wants to sign in for a story, But yeah, this stuff, there's no structure to it. It's just practice. The only real benefit of this, having you sit on my shoulder and talk to you, is it's probably therapy for me. I can talk about just any old thing. And it might be illuminating for you, like if you're broken like I was, and I was broken without hope of healing, like absolutely without hope of healing. Now you have a concrete example that you can come back from that. But I was a walking ghost. Like, in all seriousness, I was just waiting to die. And I made a video. If you YouTube search "Walking Towards Hope, Captain Australia," it'll take you there. So these lights aren't working. I just have to scoot across. There you go. We simulated working lights. So theoretically, the head hope. If you don't, sorry. These new headphones that I'm getting, I invested in a new set of headphones. They are awesome. Like they're all these professional influencers and YouTubers and all of those guys. Guys being a gender neutral term, but they use them. So they should provide a professional standard of sound. And they'll last for 7 hours, which is great. Battery case gives you an extra 100 hours. MIFO. Not sure how to say it, but it sounds like a fantastic audio product. And I can tap it, and it will switch in between modes. So in one mode, it'll drown out all the ambient sound, like the traffic noise and all of that stuff. So, you can kind of hear me speak better. But then if I meet somebody and we want to have a conversation, it goes the other way. And the mic opens up to all nearby sound so that you can get both parts of the conversation. Usually it was one or the other, You get the benefit of drowning out background noise, but then if I talk to anybody, you just don't know what they're saying. But these headphones should be, great. The ability to dynamically switch in between, situationally. So, should get them in the next few days, and should see a dramatic improvement in sound. Vision is an open question. So I keep reaching back and touching the camera, just seeing if it's shifted around, if it's still oriented forward. And now the flag's in front of you. And when I get home, we'll I just sort of assess it. It's like everyone I do, I look at, learn from, and it may seem as though we're not getting any better at all. Sorry about that. Anyway, there's also the therapy of it. So if you make comments, I can't hear, see, or have any awareness of your comments until I get home. And when I'm on the road on the big walk, it'll be the same. When actually walking, I won't be able to see any remarks that are made. G'day. But when I stop and take a break, I've got heaps of battery solution now, so I shouldn't have to worry about being able to stay in touch. That said, that's a slippery slope, because part of an adventure is being out of touch, you know? It's just being out in the middle of nowhere and you've got nothing to rely on. That might sound dangerous, but danger isn't a bad thing. When you're in danger, you know you're alive more than any other time in your life, probably. You know? When you're in danger and when you're in love, those are the times where you are most alive, in my experience. And anyway, so the whole idea of this quest, this pilgrimage, you know, having constant power, I mean, you know, there's a temptation to listen to music all the time, for instance. But, you know, these days I'm concerned that my children are not good at being bored. So we don't submit well to or manage boredom and the symptoms of boredom. And I think that there's something to be said for boredom. You know, a long, boring, sunny summer's day recharges the old batteries. Good day. I hope looks like there's something bad that might have happened in there. Oh dear. You know, I would love to see a world without crime, pain, homelessness, oppressed children. The thing that bugs me more than anything is when children suffer. Adults, we were all kids once, you know? I think there's this lovely quote by Dustin Hoffman that, well, you know, when I look at a junkie or a homeless person or a panhandler or somebody even trying to steal somebody's wallet, I see the toddler that they were once upon a time. And I wonder how we failed them, you know? And that's a true thing. For me, winding that back, the better that we get at protecting and preserving our children, teaching them, the better our society gets overall in the longer term. You know? Does that make sense? G'day. You know, all of the things that you would objectively say are bad in society, criminality, violence, domestic or, you know, otherwise, all of these things, these bad things, you know, potentially could be mitigated if we were better parents and better teachers. We had better social welfare and access to health. If our society, in short, were better. You know? Does a utopian society have crime? No, it does not. Why? Because everybody's perfect? No. The point is maybe we were all perfect at one point. And the ideal society mitigates the decline of daily life. You know? So utopia is not necessarily grounded in its foundation of valuing science or mercy or whatever. Not in the values intrinsic to that utopian structure. What a utopia does is preserves childlike wonder and innocence and decency. That said, I mean, sharing, for instance, is something that you learn. You know, it's not natural to a toddler.
Oh, maybe it is. It just all gets pretty muddy in there. But, you know, when you see a toddler and they're like, whoa, that's a donut, I'll get that. Doesn't matter if the other toddler's holding it, they'll take it from them. So, you know, there are some values that are worthwhile, instructive and important, but they're learned over a lifetime rather than lost. So, Captain Australia, you're saying one thing and then the other. What are you today, mate? Opposite man? Yeah. Look, you're my therapist. Shut up. Your job is to just listen, okay? I can't, you know, solve all the world's problems. I can just put out ideas. Actually, that probably sums me up, you know. This big walk, it's not, I can't save the world. I'm just trying to heal myself. But look at the idea of it. And the idea of it is simple. It's all about hope. Fundamentally, it's about no matter, like, life is not puppy dogs and butterflies and rainbows. It's not all joy and love. It can be, and your goal should be to maximize those things. The footprint that love has in your life should be one of your primary goals in your life. But, you know, life also has darkness, cruelty, suffering, unjustified suffering. Life has children who get cancer. Okay? So, the big walk is a metaphor for saying, regardless that, all of that, no matter how hard life tries to just knock you down and stomp on you and keep you down, get up, close your eyes, figure out the right direction and just walk. And it's a metaphor for moving forward, but not just moving forward randomly, moving forward mindfully in a chosen direction. Might not be the right direction, and that's why we navigate. We change our course and figure it out, but it's about that mindfulness, that deliberately overcoming adversity. And for me, the adversity is stage 4 cancer. So 6 months to live deal. 40 to 60% chance of curative chemoradiation. What that means is the chemoradiation had a chance to completely eradicate the cancer. If it didn't, it might have made it small enough that surgical options there. You know, you get these sort of remission scenarios where you spend 12 years fighting the cancer on and off before succumbing to it. But in my case, the outcome was total metabolic response to treatment. So, as I understand it, my 5th anniversary is coming up. The 24th of December is the 5th anniversary of the end of my treatment. 25th of December, I'm taking for my children. Christmas Day, we're going to have a good old Christmas Day together. And then the 26th of December, I put it all in the rearview mirror and I start walking. You know? That's it. But, you know, all of those things. So for me, stage 4 cancer, that people have written to me about how they struggle just with daily living, depression, suicidal ideations. You know, all of this stuff. Terrible, horrible challenges to deal with. And I know about terrible, horrible challenges. And I had depression woven into me, not suicidal feelings. You know, that, what an irony that would be, to beat a stage 4 cancer and then kill yourself. It's absurd. But for me, there's like suicide by inches, where every day your hope slips away further from you. The chronic illnesses, chronic side effects stack up on you. And they get heavier and heavier, and you literally get heavier and heavier, fatter and fatter as hope slowly evaporates and you wind this shroud around you, metaphorically and literally, physically. So, you know, at the end of it, in December last year, I was 140 kilos, you know? 140 kilos. Like, that's morbidly clinically obese. And I know I look pretty sloppo now, so I'm just going to try and fix this banner up. There we go. Now let's look at this reflective surface and see. Yeah. So I think the camera, you should be able to see my hand in the center of the camera there. So when I look at this at home, I'll get a sense. When you're situated like this, the hand should be roughly in the center, and that's basically where my gaze is as well. So my eyes, two hands, you. And I just realized I look like I'm doing, let's get physical, physical. People driving past are like, oh my God. So look, I need your help to inform them that I'm not mental, that this is for charity, and hopefully a few coins will fall out of their pockets. So anybody watching this, what I need you to do, now or in the future, if the big walk is over and done and it's way in the future, just send them to the Kids Cancer Project. If the big walk is still ongoing, point them to the Facebook page or the donation page, But yeah, but please be my spruiker, Advertise me. I can't afford actual advertising, So yeah, anyway, part of what I think I can offer in these exchanges is this tangible idea of healing, this or like an intuitive roadmap to it. Because often when you're fighting a problem, the difficulty is diagnosing and identifying the problem and figuring out how best to treat it. And then you try different treatments, and some of them work for a little bit or not at all or a lot, but then you can't afford them anymore or whatever. And for me, that detail is actually irrelevant. I know I don't mean to trivialize it. It's important if you need medicine for a bipolar condition. It's important if you need therapy for your depression. Those things matter. But what matters more is having this concrete sense of hope that you can make your life better. And you can. I promise you can. And that's the thing. That's the message, and that's the only message. And once you have that understanding innately, once you accept that as a truth, then all of the details of it, they become your tools. And you try them, and it works, and then it fails, so you try a new one. But instead of being the victim of your disease, you own it. And you are navigating to the best possible outcome. And that might not be a solution. It might be a lifelong problem. It might be an incurable problem. But when you have hope, what you have is this victory preordained, It's like you will maximize the amount of joy that you have in your daily life, the amount of satisfaction and happiness. But yeah, anyway, I need to talk when I do these walks because it helps me with the sound, but that's going to become redundant and moot when I update my new YouTube headphones. Anyway, I'll keep talking. Who knows, maybe someone hears it and benefits from it. But I believe this is the world according to Garp. Forrest Gump, I mean me, Captain Australia's worldview. So I believe, first and foremost, we all have our own beliefs, and we are entitled to them, and we should feel safe to share them, and in sharing, refine them, because beliefs, I think, intersect with ethics and your personal day-to-day living choices. So if you are afraid to authentically share your beliefs, it's like going to church every Sunday but not believing. You won't progress in the same way as if you were encouraged to have dialogue about what you believe. So I think it's counterproductive the way that we as a society tend to engage these days, because we don't build consensus, we argue. This is my team, your team's shit, you know. The feminists argue with the trans because they feel that they've subverted a cause that had been fought for generations, and all of these. You have all these meaningful, relevant causes that instead of coming together and unifying and having a shared dialogue that changes and the narrative changes to accommodate the meaningful elements of all of it to become like a wider, holistic framework, an ethical framework, what you get is just Team A arguing with Team B. It's fruitless, it's ugly, it's unproductive, and you will not recruit me to join your team. Because I think you're full of shit. Because you're not building consensus. So I do think that beliefs are something that we all have, and they should be fundamentally respected, no matter how quirky they are, because none of us have a clear understanding of why we're here, what happens when you die, all of those fundamental questions. So anyone who says they know absolutely is just declaring their faith. They have faith. I have faith in my atheism. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but it is. It's an article of faith to say, concretely, we are here for this reason, or not here for not that reason. And nobody knows, is my personal worldview. And therefore, we should respect each other and find ways to coexist as peacefully as we can. Now, you should see a train coming along here, and there's a crossing, and we will stand and wait as the train goes past. Now, I don't know if you'll hear me. Let's talk while the train goes past. See how good this microphone is with the traffic noise and background noise. La-di-da-di-da-da, Captain Australia, never gonna fail ya. Don't pay retail, you sucker. Yeah, get a discount if you can count. That's right. Do it all night. We're going to fight. What the hell is wrong with me? I do not know. Do not cross on red signal. I'm sure it's safe to cross now, but we've got to respect the rules. There's no red signal, so we can cross. Okay. So where was I? Beliefs. So my first belief is that we need to find ways to accommodate and respect the beliefs of others, all of them. That includes extremist Muslim beliefs, for instance. They will be put on the shit pile of these guys are evil for what they believe. That's an example where it is the most tempting to absolutely dismiss the belief system as unethical because it involves killing people, right? But what we need to do is have dialogue. Okay, hey buddy, I understand you refer to this holy text and you believe it as sacred. That's cool. You can do that. But you can't prove A, B, C, and D. And let's sit down. Let's dogmatically, philosophically prove to me that you exist. You can't? Okay. So maybe you need to believe what you believe, but put aside the whole kill the infidel stuff. Oh, we never thought about it that way, Simon. You're a very wise man. We will not kill the infidel. And then, sorry, I do not mean to trivialize any group or belief system, because any one of us could be right. Any one of us, there could be an absolute universal truth, and it could be any one of us. So, I personally, my fundamental belief is that beliefs are like rectums. We all have one. Keep it clean. And then, secondary to that, I believe that there is a higher spiritual meaning to our life. So, whether that's interpreted as a God, I don't know. I do not have any specific relationship or method for engaging that belief, except for this innate sense that it's a true thing. There is a higher, finer spiritual meaning to our life, and what I land on is whether that true or not. If that were not, and we're just monkeys, it's either one or the other. there's a spiritual meaning to our existence, or we're monkeys, we're meat. But either way, I think having a sound, rock-solid ethical structure to engage the world with is fundamental to either life path. Oh, sure you can. G'day. Hi, I'm Simon / Captain Australia. It's a charity thing for the Kids Cancer Project. Cheers. Take care of yourself. So, sorry, where were we? For me, I believe that there is a finer, higher spiritual meaning. And then when you drill down from that, what does it look like? So there's no specific church or religion. You've got that question then of other. Is there an other? Are there intelligences other than humanity? That's a bit an unknown for me, but my sense is that there's it may not be a sentient God as such, but it could be the idea of good and evil as like pantheistic forces that are woven into our existence, and they hold sway over what we do and how we think, and we get to lean into one or the other. And the seesaw just happens to be out of balance, I think, in our society today. You know, it's all a little bit darkening, in my opinion. But, you know, here's the thing. My belief might sound absolutely batshit crazy to you. And I get that. I absolutely get it. But here's the thing. So does any of the other ones. So, you know, the Catholic Church, okay, it's one of the largest corporations in the world. The Pope. I know who it is at the moment, some German dude, right? Whoever it is, like, I would challenge that person to make a few statements about their faith. Because it would be really interesting. Because I think at the human level, the guy wearing the funny hat, probably, he's never spoken to God. He's not had a dialogue with God. But historically, the popes were said to. Like, they're the closest of God's champions on earth. Just as the king was said to be, the divine mandate of kings, chosen by God to even have a little fingerprint of God in them, right? So, you know, jolly old Queen Elizabeth, were that true, has a little bit of divinity woven into her. And hey, that could be so, I don't know. But I would be really curious to, you know, if you had the Pope, that guy, you got him drunk and took all his white knickers and funny hat off, and you asked him a few things, like, what do you believe? Maybe it wouldn't sound too different to the kind of stuff I sprout out, you know? But if the Pope said to you, well, I spoke to God this morning, and God said to me, we have to stop whatever. So, you know, historically the Catholic Church has been quite anti-gay, right? Softened that these days, but, you know, we have to stop the homosexual, for Scripture says, go forth and propagate. You're meant to make babies. And isn't that a great recruitment statement, you know? Get the Catholics to make lots of more little Catholics. And I'm not trying to piss on the Catholic Church because it could absolutely be the correct. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that whenever you articulate a set of beliefs, by necessity, the dialogue has a great risk of becoming absurd. Because beliefs are deeply personal, spiritual, intangible, unprovable. And as much as somebody can say, all the evidence points towards there being or not being a God, or all the evidence points to this or that, the more you think that, the more bias you have at the end of the day. Because, okay, here's a fundamental. This for me is one thing that would put it all into an interesting new perspective, right? So some of the greatest thinkers these days, smartest minds in the world, recognized atheists as well, Hawking, rest in peace, put forward the possibility of Simulation theory. Fascinating. Okay. So the idea is that we, as sentient beings, are living in a construct. For the want of a better picture of that, let's say it's the Matrix. So if that were a sound, ideologically way of, I'm not mental, I'm talking to a phone, yeah, cheers. I just realised I'm walking along talking to myself and dressed as a superhero, and this lady looked a bit scared. So if that simulation theory as a construct, a philosophical, ideological, practical, scientific way to prove or disprove, like a theory to interface with the world, right? Were it true, then it's fundamentally no different to an invisible wizard that lives in the sky, makes the rain, or primitive sun worship, or whatever. Any of it becomes viable because it's innate to the model that the fundamental physical rules of the universe in which we live are subject to spontaneous change. By what and by who? The AI. Okay, so the AI was made by man, man was made by the AI, chicken and egg. None of that stuff is answered by simulation theory, and in fact what it does is acknowledges that objective reality is an open question. So look, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling because I'm walking and I like to walk and ramble, and you're my therapist. So anybody crazy enough to listen to this, assuming the audio is still okay, take it with a grain of salt. But it just reinforces for me that beliefs are varied, diverse, individually tailored, and something that we need to find ways to respect and coexist. And where belief systems disagree and intersect, we should ideally be able to have friendly dialogue around that. Like, kill people, do not kill people. Okay, I agree, we will not kill people, we get more taxes that way. Okay. Power and control are the agenda of most corporations, governments, and entities once you bring more than 3 people together. 2 people, we cooperate. 3 people, we cooperate better. But then when you get more at the group level, we become these, we lose our efficiency as groups then start to compete for resources, power, and control. So I personally think the stronger we are in our individual ethics, the less power the organizations have. Because when you have these conflicts, well, you and me, we're going to sit down and say, yeah, no, you're right. That is wrong. They should not have put you in prison for exercising your freedom of speech, or they should not have example A, B, C, and D. But that individual dialogue through a strong ethical lens allows us to change and grow. And I think we're not doing that really. You can say that you're, the key riddle in your life might be gender identity. And you read a few books on that, or you listen to a few people, so then you shape an opinion on it. But you're vulnerable about it, so you won't hear the points of view of people who have contradictory viewpoints. But where someone's viewpoint contradicts with yours, that intersection point is incredibly valuable. Because if you can sit down with an open mind on both sides, we improve, we all level up. All of us. As a society, we level up. But we're not doing that, and we're not doing it well, and we don't trust each other, which is weird. Because, okay, at the social level, I don't trust you. I don't trust the government. I don't actively distrust the government, but, sorta. But at the individual level, I've met some wonderful people for whom I will immediately give my trust, absolute trust. And for me, that's a hopeful thing. That's another message of hope. Individually, we are not necessarily trapped in the structures that we are at the social level. So we can get better. Start to reject some of those structures and get better. Oh, Captain Australia, I don't smoke marijuana or drop acid or any other recreational drugs. I have had morphine, endone and pain management drugs because I had great pain with the cancer treatments. Actually, funny story, well, not funny story, just a story, I suppose. So my oncologist, a lovely doctor, Dr. Charles Lynn, we meet throughout the treatment, and he's talking about my pain prescription. So he's given me a prescription for some sort of morphine-based pain medicine, and I haven't filled it. And he's like, okay, so how's your pain? Do you need another script? And I'm like, oh, no, I haven't filled this one yet. That's all, I'm good. He's like, wait, what? And he examined the inside of my mouth, and all of these, like the radiation inflicts a pretty bad insult on you. And he said, Simon, how are you managing your pain right now? And I'm like, oh, I got Panadol. Well, it's not Panadol. It's a cheapo, house brand version of Panadol, Panamax. So I'm using that. I got a 50 pack or something, and I pop one every 4 hours when I have pain, if it's severe enough. He's like, Simon, you should be screaming. You should be screaming in agony right now. I don't understand. And I realized I was in pain. I was just managing it, So it's funny, the idea of suffering and how relative it is. So people look at me and think, oh, look, that dude, he had stage 4 cancer. And these kids I met on the Gold Coast, they were like, you're a hero, man. No, I'm not. I'm just a buffhead. And my suffering is no bigger or more important than the next person's. The wider message is that children shouldn't have to face up to it. That's the fundamental message. But secondary to that is also that your suffering, mine, we are united in our suffering, and we can help each other. If I'm a little bit kind to you and you're a little bit kind to me, that makes us a little bit better. Anyway, I could just be walking along babbling to myself and the stream's dead. Or the stream could be going, but the sound might be dead. So I'm like whispering to you. I do not know. But I'll just keep walking and talking anyway. So I've come about, I'll say 12k now. Probably another 5 into the city and then 8 home. So it's just like a nice little half day sort of a walk, I suppose. 17, 25k maybe all told. So, 25k. I guess that should be about 5 hours, 6 if you go slow. So I think I've come to a place where I can just walk. I can theoretically walk all day, sleep, and do it again tomorrow. Experience might prove me wrong, but I'm pretty confident in my stamina in that regard. But I'd rather work smart than hard. So, I've mentioned it already, but my plan is to get up in the morning when I walk, be like 5:30 or whatever, greet the dawn, breathe, have something to drink, water I mean, and just in the morning pack everything up, my backpack, and put on my Captain Australia uniform and do a good 3 hours. That'll be 15k. And then have breakfast at like 9 o'clock and have a break. Rest the boots, rest the feet. Take the boots off. Set them piggies free. And then after breakfast do another 10. Quick 2 hours, So And that'll get me through to just before sort of noon. And that's the time to rest. So I'll have 2-3 hours rest in the middle of the day. All the flags blocking you. Come on, Mr. Flag. Don't do that. The wind is not going in the way that we want the wind to go. Let's try this tree. Turn it. There we go. That's better. Okay. So the idea then is to have a few hours in the middle of the day rest and do the same thing in reverse in the afternoon and evening. So I'm thinking I could comfortably walk 50k a day, you know. And I remember this guy online on Reddit. He was telling me, I was talking about my intention to walk to Melbourne, and you know, people want to compare the size of their shoes, if you know what I mean. Charity. I think it was for PTSD for returning vets or something like that, some very important charity. And they did 60k a day. And they did like 1,800k in total, or it might only have been 800k in total, I don't know. But with the kit, rucking with the gear, 60k a day was considered, for these athletes, these strong men, 60k a day was considered a good effort. So if I can do that, or something approximating that, and sustain it over 10 weeks, I think I can come out of it pretty proud of myself. Pride's a slippery slope though. When I say proud of myself, yeah, I know, that's just something for me. A sense that I did something good. Oh. Okay. So this is Kingsford Smith Drive, I think, or Breakfast Creek, something like that. Yeah, I think we're coming up to the Brecky Creek Hotel. So then you sort of got up through the valley, into the city, and then Captain Australia faces the moment of truth. I need to decide whether to, from Roma Street, there's a bus that goes directly to my home, or I can walk it. If I walk it, it's 8k. If I take the bus, I'm home, well, roughly it's the end of school time. If I walk it, then, you know, it's a bit later in the afternoon. So the question, oh therapy friend, is whether by taking the bus home, I'm using my children as an excuse to cop out early, or am I leaning into the idea that before I take my big walk, I want to maximize the amount of time I have with my kids? Interesting question. I don't know for sure. I think it's better to walk. I'm just not where I need to be in terms of the strength and weight that I wanted to be at for when I started my walk. I kind of, like, I was going hardcore with my food. You know, very restrictive diet and all the daily walking, just weight kept melting off me. And it still is, but at a reduced rate. So I'm losing about 1 kilo a week, something like that. But I'm eating flamboyantly. Like, I'm eating really good, healthy diet now. But I reckon if I drop another 10k between now and Christmas, I'll probably be, I'll find the whole walk overall physically easier. I'm putting on a little bit of muscle, but yeah, just carrying around extra fat is never good for you. You know? Anyway, random jibber jabber. Random jibber 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 jabber. Jokes, I only remember 3 jokes. I told those 3 jokes the other day. What else can I talk about? I could tell you about how cancer is. There's dimensions to that. There's the physical struggle with treatment. There's the psychological impact on both, like, which starts immediately from diagnosis. From the second they say you've got cancer, you're subjected to a profound psychological attack, and no matter how strong you are, you know, like, you would have to be the most zen person in the world to not have a response to that attack, you know, to just like let it wash over you. No big deal. That's the only way that it doesn't imprint its change on you. Because the psychological attack, you can go one way, you can say, well, I'll be strong, I'll fight. And you do. But it's this relentless attack, and you're fighting it, and it's taking its toll, and it has a cost. And as soon as you get worn down in that fight, it can start to, you know, sucker punch you, move into the, you know, try and sort of go for your soft spots. Or you can kind of, you know, lean away from it, try and hide from it. And that takes another toll, because hiding takes energy. So yeah, that psychological attack is relentless and oppressive. And although you could deal with it in dozens of different ways, I think every technique has its cost. The Dalai Lama may be able to say, you know, and not even allow the fact that he has cancer. I don't know if the Dalai Lama has cancer. I don't wish cancer on the Dalai Lama, but you know, not allow it to interfere with the way his mind, body, and spirit interface with the world. But I'm doubtful. So it's profound cancer. And it's not just you. It attacks the people who love you. You know? Imagine being the parent of a child diagnosed. I mean, that's a kick in the guts. For me, one of the biggest kicks in the guts of my own cancer diagnosis was the idea that I die and I'm abandoning Jenny, my wife, and my 3 beautiful boys. I'm just abandoning them. They don't have me in their life anymore. I'm a good dad. I'm inflicting on them the grief of a lost partner, father, teacher, you know? Inflicting on them a need to reconcile and process mortality at an age where you shouldn't have to do that. But my ordeal, I don't think even begins to compare. I mean, I said before, all suffering is personal, and you can't compare it, and it's not productive to. But that said, yeah, for me, the idea of a child getting sick with cancer, I can't think of a harder pill to have to swallow, a harder truth to have to face up to. So when I walk, when I start to feel tired, I think that's what sort of sparks me up and keeps me moving along. This concrete face. And it's not just these children with illness, but it's the wider families that are affected. And the thing about a child's life isn't just their life, their precious life. You know, life at its purest, not yet contaminated by the world, right? It's not just that. It's all of that future unrealized potential. So, you know, without the cancer, 20 years from now, they fall in love. You know, they get divorced 10 years after that, but they have a baby in the meantime. That child goes on to write a beautiful poem or whatever. You know, there's just love and creation and all of those things, all of that potentiality in their future, if that's a word. But, you know, so for me, the idea of pediatric cancer is offensive, not just because it tries to take away something that has value today, but it tries to take away the future promise of that as well. You know, cancer in an adult, well, adults die. We get drunk and drive off cliffs. We sucker punch each other in the back of the heads like There's misadventure and natural death. We eat too much and have heart attacks. Adults dying, it's, bad, but it's not the same level of tragedy as a child. I don't know, for me at least. So, wiggity wiggity walking, Captain Australia. I guess I'll just keep on streaming for as long as the stream lasts. Stream. Funny word for it, really, when you think about it. Like what if I said I'm creaking on Facebook? Well, a door in a haunted house will creak. But I mean creak like a riverway. Back before iPhones and all that, they had these iPods and iPod Airs and all of this. And Microsoft did like a thing called the River or the iRiver or something, I think, from memory. Had more memory, could hold more songs. Technically, I think it had some structural advantages over the device, but like everything Microsoft and Bill Gates probably does, it didn't have the same swagger factor. Saw an interview with Bill Gates the other day talking about Harvey Weinstein and how he didn't do anything dodgy or whatever. There does seem to be something a little creepy about that dude. Uh-oh. The 5G in my vaccination just beeped. Oh no. Our Bill Gates who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, please my Lord. Don't implode. My cerebral cortex or whatever you've done internally. Funny old world. So you should see Brisbane directly ahead, the river, a garbage truck, and a city cat over there. So if you're seeing where my eyes are going to that city cat where my hand is pointing. So maybe. So that's just another moment when I get home, I can look at that. People driving past think I'm doing a Zig Heil. Funny old world. And no, formally, I don't know what's wrong with me. I couldn't tell you. I think despite any evidence to the contrary, I'm pretty mentally sound. And any confusion that I have in my day-to-day life is, I don't know, symptomatic of the times we live in, maybe. Are you confused? Or I imagine you have some confusion. Well, wiggity wiggity walking. Now, if anybody watching this is one of these lovely people who have made comments, thank you. Thank you very much. I can't really properly state how much of a boost just simple kindness gives me. It teaches me that kindness and compassion is a circle, and it spreads and it grows as we share it, and I love that. It makes me happy and it helps me heal, so thank you. But if you're one of these people who has written saying that you've been helped somehow, that you are finding strength to go on or recover from something, I have to say especially thank you. Because, I mean, it's the same thing but to a greater magnitude. So if, as clumsy and strange as I am, if what I have to say or do somehow benefits you to that extent, I could not be more delighted. I could not be more pleased. And that joy is both redeeming in me as a human being and rewarding, because it is, again, that kindness being a circle. It flows from me to you, to the guy down the street, and back again. So that's wonderful. So if you're one of these people who's written about problems that you're overcoming, hope that you begin to see in your life, Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. There's a bus stop here. I might stop and check out the stream. See how we're going. Oh, Captain Australia. Your banner's all wrapped around the thingamy-bob, mate. Let's see. Oh, dear. Let's fix that up first. Oh. Whee. It's all over the place. And then, having done that, let's look at this. Ugh. Oi. Seems to be still streaming. Okay. Well. Okay, let's reverse this. I'm sideways, according to this. I'm spider captain. But I'm sure from past experience, the orientation is, landscape, and that I am up down. But when I look at the phone, the ground is that way. Anyway, so sorry, I've just had a long old walk, and I've still got more of a long walk. But I might just let the stream go there, keep a bit of battery in the old phone. I'm curious to see if the sound is still working as well, so I might check that out. All the best. Captain Australia's big walk for the Kids Cancer Project. Just a buffet old man, but I'm going to walk from Brisbane to Melbourne. I am a stage 4 cancer survivor, and my goal is to show other broken people that healing is available, and it's to help children have that hope when they're facing up to a diagnosis of pediatric cancer. So the Kids Cancer Project, it's all about the science of a cure to pediatric cancer. Average age of children affected is 6, 950 Aussie kids a year impacted. 3 Aussie kids every week die due to specifically pediatric cancer. So any donation goes into eradicating this awful, horrible, there's a specific nest of diseases that specifically attack children. Neuroblastoma and a few other ones like that. Anyway, closing spiel, all the best. I am now going to walk the rest of the way into town, and then I may either catch a bus out to my home or walk the 8K, depending on where I land morally and ethically on that. Anyway, all the best, fare thee well, and sorry for the ramble.